Beast. The Final Trial and the Final Horizon DLC is one of the hardest challenges in any Sonic game, period. And I think I can speak for a lot of us that a lot of us were not expecting it to be that hard. I played it on hard mode. It took me like 50 tries in order to get through it. And along the way, I learned a lot of tips and tricks that would have made my life a lot easier if I knew before. So I'm going to run through them with you right now. First thing I want to say is you have to learn how to perfect parry. There's no way around it. If you want to get past Wyvern, the only way you can get through it is you have to have the parry down. If you want to go down to normal mode or easy mode, it gradually makes the parry time a little bit longer, similar to the base game. But if you're going to play on hard mode, I think it's like 2 or 3 frames that parry lasts. And so before you do anything, you have to master that. Also, your main damage dealer that you're going to be doing throughout the run is stomp. And so a lot of times you can just get one hit in and then just mash stomp afterwards. One hit, smash stomp, one hit, mash stomp. And so that's what going to be your bread and butter, as well as doing your quick side loop. Quick side loop or a regular side loop, whenever you complete the ring around him, he takes 2 times damage. I think it's times 2 damage throughout the entire time he's chained up. And so for Giganto, for Wyvern first phase, and for Knight, the quick side loop is incredibly necessary in order to beat this boss rush. So with Giganto, you're gonna go in and you're gonna be able to get a few stomps in, and then he's going to do his spin attack. What I do, I just run away from it. It's so hard to try to parry it, and it's very ambiguous on what is the actual attack that you're hitting. Maybe on an easier difficulty, you can just hold it and get that parry in, but a big thing is I just dodge it, and he's always going to hit you with that first right hand afterwards. And you parry that, and if you can get a grand slam in, every time you do a grand slam, it stops the timer. And so you can generally, once you parry one of his attacks, whether it's his right hand or his left, you can get a couple stomps in. I go for 2 stomps and then I grand slam. And so what happens is if he hits you and he knocks you back, he's always going to go for the right hand next. Like, I'm almost certain that he goes for right hand. And if you knock him on the ground, then he's going to come up and sweep at you with his left hand. And so anytime that you knock him down, if you get a grand slam in, he's going to go for left hand. It'll be underhanded or it'll be an overhanded attack. So going to first phase, you can get to first phase Giganto with like 360 rings left. And it really just depends on if you have your parries down or not. On a winning playthrough, I've gotten even to 370 rings. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. So you can get in 2 stomps as soon as the second phase starts, but then he's going to go for laser. What I would do is I would just mash parry, and you hold the stick to the side, and you can dodge any of his command grabs, whether it's laser or whether it's the 2 clapping motions he does with his hands. Then you're just going to go for stomps. If you can go for a quick side loop, because that's what I should have done there. I could have quick side loop, brought him up into the air, and he'll swipe at you with his left hand when he knocks you in the air. And it's a little difficult to parry, but if you can get that down, you basically won the whole round. So the quick side loop, the earlier you do it, and if you get that parry down, like the faster Giganto will be finished. But if he knocks you away, you can try to get a few hits in, but then he's going to float down to the ground. So sometimes if you don't want to waste time, you could just not try to quick side loop him. Just for me personally, with that left hand he does in the air, it's so hard for me to parry. So sometimes I kind of just ignore it. In reality, on this run, it was a mistake for me to quick side loop there. I really shouldn't have. I should have just kept doing my stomps and just kept doing the routine I did for phase 1, which is parry his right hand. I have the right hand parry down pretty solidly, but as you see, I had 3 missed parries that missed me time that I get knocked backwards, and the ring count is still going the entire time that you're taking damage in this fight specifically. And so you generally want to beat Giganto with around 305 rings above. On that round, I had 310 rings, but if you can have, as long as you're above 300, you'll be good. But you see, if you really got it down, then you can even beat it with 330 rings or faster. Now we go on to Wyvern, and this is really the run killer. Honestly, if I were you, if you don't beat Giganto with at least 300 rings, I would just restart, because you're going to waste your time. And same thing with Wyvern. There's a certain point where you kind of just know that you're wasting your time, and if you don't have your parries down, then yes, use the opportunity to fight him and learn his parries. But there comes to a point where you're not going to have time for Knight. You need at least 100 rings for Knight, I would say. I beat Knight with 90 rings before, unoptimized. And so you have to one, as you know, with your slashes, you have to have it down with Wyvern. And the other big important thing is that with Wyvern, you can kill him first. You can get his first phase finished with one quick side loop. As you saw, a lot of times when you quick side loop a Wyvern in this first phase, Sonic will be positioned really weirdly. So you saw it took me a long time trying to get to him and start doing damage. And you see that I end up having to continue this first phase just because I didn't get that kill. That first kill is so important that I literally end up losing 40 rings because it took me that long to catch up. Another thing that's very difficult about Wyvern is his missile attacks. He throws out so many and they're all around the same color as his body and everything. It's so hard to differentiate which ones are coming towards you. But what changed everything for me was the blinking. Of course, the ones that are about to hit you, the ones that are blinking means that they're coming directly at you. So at first I always thought maybe I'll just focus on the ones that are blinking, but in reality, I try to look for the first one that's blinking. The first one that starts blinking, that means it's the one that's closest to you and the one that's most likely going to hit you. So you scan your eyes looking for the first blinking one, and then that's the one that's coming towards you. And so when you're going in to block, his first hit is fast, and to block the second one is the way I time it I don't time it. It's the visual cues that tells you when he's going to do the second swipe at you. So the first cue, you kind of just have to just know it, that he does it really fast. He's not going to give you much time. But the second one, you're going to see that he shakes his body twice. Like he does he like moves his hips back and forth. I don't know. I think it's Shakira or something. So watch, parry the first hit, and then watch. He's going to 1, 2, there we go. It's after the second one, that's how you know to parry the next one. So when it comes to fighting Knight, of course, you cannot get hit. You will literally have your whole run destroyed. As I'm sure if you're looking up a YouTube video, and if you've gone past Wyvern, then you probably got a run destroyed by his spikes. If he does hit you with spikes, make sure you're high enough in the air, because you can just mash boost, and it'll cancel all of the damage or whatever. You won't lose any rings when you hit the ground. And you see what I'm going to do is, he skates around, but all I'm going to do, I'm going to be mashing attack near him just to get a one homing attack, and then I'm just going to mash stomp. The good thing about Wyvern is that when he hits you, you see when he hits you and you splat against the wall, he doesn't actually, the ring count is not going. So I don't know any of the parry timings for Knight at all. I really don't. But one, you see how much with 42 rings, you see that I'm going to bring him almost to like a quarter health down just from 40 rings. He actually almost dies. But I tried to quick side loop him before in this initial phase of him. But I think in order to quick side loop, I think he needs to be hit with his shield first, because I've tried it in other playthroughs, and quick side looping him at the beginning of the game does nothing. And so if you start hitting his shield, you can actually dodge out of it. I was slow on that, and so now I have to go through the shield mini game, and I prefer not to go through it, just because like the risk reward basically. I do not know how these missiles work. I do not know the mechanics behind it, but I just know that it can kill a lot of time. So I personally try to just avoid it in general. And so now we're going into, here's my second attempt. This is the good run. This is the good run that I'm showing you right now. And also another important thing is that your quick side loop gauge is maintained throughout the entire game. So let's say if you finish Giganto with your quick side loop gauge full, then you're gonna go into Wyvern with your quick side loop gauge full. So the most important thing is you have at least half gauge. You only need one quick side loop for Wyvern at the beginning. So always go into Wyvern fight with at least half the gauge done. That is incredibly important. So you see I go here, I get my 2 stomps, then I go for Grand Slam. And I just wait. And ideally I could have kept attacking me, but I wanted to get the parries in just to save time. So you see I get my parries. And if you get hit once or twice with Giganto, it's not the end of the world. Ideally, I try to finish phase 1 with at least 360 rings, but you see, wow, I actually parried his left hand. I rarely ever parry his left hand. I always mess that up, but thankfully the Grand Slam stops the clock, and I finish phase 1 with 370 rings. So I go in, I get my 2 stomps off, make sure you're mashing parry, you're holding the stick to the side, and it just gives you a free dodge. Sometimes he'll try to attack you right after he does the laser. If you dodge it, he'll try to swing at you if you rush him. And so that's where I go for the quick side loop. Oh my god, I actually parried him. And somehow I got twisted around behind him. I think I could have got the kill here if it wasn't for that. And I could have saved an incredible amount of time, but I'm not really that mad. Maybe I should have side looped him there, but you see I'm trying to conserve my side loop meter for Wyvern. That's all I care about at this point. I'm making great time against Giganto at 350, and of course if he wasn't doing this stupid slap, then I would have already killed him by now. But you see he's dodging, he's trying to do all these command grabs on me, but you just dodge a mash parry and hold the stick to the side, you can dodge all of them. So now here's my second attempt at Wyvern. You see we're starting off around 330 rings, and like I said, I have my quick side loop gauge. I have 1 bar. That's good. That's all I need for this fight. You see I'm watching the blanking. See, there are a lot coming to me at that point, and I got a little confused, but it's okay. Getting hit by a miss, it's not the end of the world. I saw the one that was blinking from the right. Just look for the first one that starts blinking. It's going to get really confusing, but here we go. You have no choice. You just have to learn that. I struggle with it so much, but you have to learn that first hit. And I was scared a little bit last time. Last time, remember, I tried to side loop, and I got a little off track. So it's a lot of things, but you can do is you can just dodge towards him or boost towards him and do one of his random attacks that'll track, just to make sure that you lock on to him and that you can get this quick side loop damage in. Sometimes you can also just boost towards him and then attack, but it's much easier if you just do one of those random attacks that'll just immediately get you into the into range to stomp him. If there's any parry you're gonna miss, getting hit by missiles, it's okay because the time loss is minimal. But if you miss getting hit by Wyvern, then you have to go into that stupid, you have to just watch him run away for so much longer. But missiles, I'd rather get hit by missiles any day. You see it's flashing from the bottom, so always look for that first one that's flashing. Now we go second phase. That first hit is just so fast, and it's okay. You know, everybody gets one. He's always going to get 1 or 2 against you, especially on hard mode. Like, he's going to slap you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, maybe I'm just making excuses, but I've never gone away unscathed from Wyvern. Make sure you dodge these missiles. Do not let them get past you. I know you can boost in these moments. I don't know what boosting does. I just boost just for my mental. 1, 2, there we go. And so if you try to quick side loop him here, he's gonna just break out of the chains immediately. And so I've wasted too many attempts trying to so here goes his next attack, and he does that little tail flick at the very end. I guess at the very tip of his tail he does that, but honestly I don't have the timing down. I don't need the timing, quite frankly. I'd beat him without it. But if you can just, there's so many ambiguous attacks in this game. And just imagine how much faster this would be if I was parrying these extra attacks, and I was able to do the grand slam, like throwing him against that canyon. So you'd be saving way more time than me. But look, we're at 200 rings, 195 rings. Like we're making really, really good time. And so it's not the end of the world. Like I said, you don't have to be perfect. But just having the strategies will help you so much. And you just chase that boy down. But you would save yourself so much heartache. Parry. 1, 2. You would save yourself so much heartache if you would learn that last parry. Because you don't need to get him to the full end of health. He just needs to, there we go. So now Wyvern is done. We finished Wyvern with about 120 rings. 130 rings actually. So we're going into night with great time. So I come in night with 130 rings, and I'm going to mess up a lot in this run, but it just goes to show if you can get to night with plenty of time, then you've already won. So you see I'm mashing my stomp, my attack and my stomp. See, if I knew that parry, things would be so much better, but it doesn't matter that much because I'm not losing any time. And I'm still going to, that entire time I'm spotting against the wall, the clock is not running. And so I'm still getting extra damage against him. You see he's about a quarter health gone. So I actually parried that move. I don't even know how I did that. But you see, I just dodged around the shield. I didn't want him to throw the shield. I didn't want to go through that stupid mini game again. I already know what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep on doing it. And so, like I said, it takes you about 50 rings in order to beat night. Beat night first phase. And so, let me see. I'm waiting for this cutscene to end. How many rings did I have? Yeah, so I actually finished phase 1 Wyvern with about 40 rings. And so you're going to see I missed the easiest part of the fight, and I missed like 5 times. Like I would have killed my run if I didn't beat Wyvern and Giganto so fast. But it's embarrassing. But just the parry is easy. You just have to just be like, just press it at the last second if you're on hard mode, and just don't be a dummy. For the most part, you want to lead your shots. And so right there, I try to go for the quick side loop, but yeah, so it was just I couldn't explain to you why the quick side loop didn't work. Maybe he was in the animation for another attack, but that's what got me actually scared because I was like, what in the world is going on? And so you see right there, I tried to lead my shot, but then he went backwards. So it's a little hard. I guess you just gotta just make sure you have enough time. That's all I can say. You see, I'm missing parries. See, I keep trying to glance up at the clock, but don't even stress. Like, all I need is to hit him one time. I just need one hit. That's all I need. I'm literally, last time, I don't know what I was doing, but I'm just going for quick side loop here. There we go. Now game over. I have 30 rings left. Game over. Stomp. Like, I feel like Knight has less health than Wyvern in them. But yeah, so that's the game. I beat Wyvern with like 20 rings left. I went into the match. I guess it took me about 100 rings to beat Wyvern. I mean, to beat Knight in total. And you saw all those crazy mistakes I made. I made a million mistakes, and you can still beat him. It's mainly, he's easy. It's mainly Wyvern that you have to get through Wyvern. But that's all I really have. I really hope this helps somebody out there. This is just some of the strategies I have in place. And good luck, everybody.